Welcome to the podcast. I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Jonathan,
and this is Harry Potter and the Second Time Reader.
aka John and Lizzie. I love the name Jonathan, but all right, we're doing chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16 with a quick summary of chapter 13 before we dive into the questions. This is the secret riddle.
Oh, this is when Dumbledore goes back in his memory and looks at the orphanage and getting baby Voldemort, like Tom Riddle, for school.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's like psychotic.
Yeah, he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
I don't think he's psychotic. I think he's a psychopath. I don't think he's
What's
hearing
the
voices.
difference?
Psychosis is you hear voices.
Oh.
Or the beginning is of hearing voices. That's not like that's like a minimized version of it. But he's definitely a psychopath. And it's interesting because like he can kind of like sense it now. Like the kid is like there's like lines that he's like, I can make animals do what I want them to do. You're like, that's like early signs of a serial killer right there.
And like immediately into the suffering of other people.
Yeah,
he's like,
exactly.
I can force them to do things.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. But one thing that I actually commend Dumbledore in this, and this is going to be our first discussion. If you went up to the kid like this and you see the kid clearly has some issues like this, would you let him into the school or not?
I don't know. It seemed like he was destined to go. Like, what does that even mean that he was like written in at birth to go? Like, is that his mom's dying wish?
No, there's or
like you just know all the wizards and all the wizards go to Hogwarts.
Jables is gonna kill me because I always forget this, but I think it's the Book of Admittance and the Pen of something. And it's something that senses magic in children. And if it catches magic early, you're like both of them have to like agree with each other. And that's how Hogwarts sends out its letters. They like know this child has like magical upbringing. So the kid's name was written from like the beginning because they like both the Quill of Admittance and the Pen of Acceptance or something like that. Or something like that. I forgot exactly what it was. But they have to agree, and they agreed. So his name was written and ready to go into Hogwarts for a while. But if someone has magic like that and they're able to do it, but they still seem like a psychopath from a young age.
Like, does he have the right to deny him entrance? I don't know. I think probably Dumbledore was hopeful that he could make him be a good wizard.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like that would be in Dumbledore's nature.
I love that. I think, I'm with you on that.
But I don't know, like Dumbledore seemed kind of caught off guard too that like that was intense. Like Voldemort's kind of crazy.
Yeah. There's like a point to it where I love that Dumbledore invites this guy in because he's young and he could change. Kids are very malleable. I feel like even I don't know anything about psychology really. Like I would love to learn this stuff. But I don't love armchair psychologists, people who don't really like have training in this. Like there's one TikTok clip that drives me crazy. And it's like this one woman, like she's psychoanalyzing some comedian, and the comedian's like, "What grounds do you have to like psychoanalyze me?" And she goes, "I've been in therapy for like 20 years." And he's like, "I've watched football for 20 years. That doesn't mean like I'm able to like go to the NFL and play football." I'm like, that's such garbage when people say that. Like these people are trained in this, they know what they're talking about. So I like that Dumbledore. All that to say, they're like letting this kid in. Yeah, he exhibits early signs of this, but like it's not firmed up. Like a kid's mind is still malleable and it's still like willing and ready to be changed. So I feel like there's definitely like a beauty to letting the kid in and trying to work with them. Definitely didn't pan out in the end, but
yeah, whether or not the intention was good.
Yeah,
I think also Voldemort or Tom is left to his own devices too with his magic right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he can do what he wants and there's no rules.
Yeah.
Because I almost feel like if Harry had that, Harry would start to really use it against the Dursleys and Dudley.
Yeah.
If he could figure out how to harness it, like if he had a few more years or if it wasn't so suppressed in the beginning and like he could just kind of grow up into it more, I feel like he would definitely get back at his family.
Yeah.
So
I kind of agree.
I don't know.
He's already like plotting here. It is like interesting, especially this chapter to just like talk about the differences in Harry's upbringing versus the differences in Voldemort's or Tom Riddle's and how they became and like and what kind of people they became. I always think it's like a good little contrast there in these chapters. So I'm into that. But Dumbledore has this line where he says, she wouldn't, or Harry says, she wouldn't even stay alive for her son, talking about Merope dying. And Dumbledore raised his eyebrows. Could you possibly be feeling sorry for Lord Voldemort? No, Harry said quickly. But she had a choice, didn't she, like my mother? Your mother had a choice too, said Dumbledore gently. Or she had a choice not like my mother. Your mother had a choice too, said Dumbledore gently. Yes, Merope Riddle chose death in spite of a son who needed her. But do not judge too harshly, Harry. She was greatly weakened by long suffering, and she never had your mother's courage. And now, if you will stand. Wes.
So was Merope cursed to death? That's what happened? And
is that your opinion?
That was a question. I don't know.
I don't think so.
So why would she like not raise her wand to save herself? Like, what does that even mean? That seems like self-defense to me. And then like I thought Dumbledore was kind of insinuating that like Harry's mom could have saved herself instead of saving Harry, or just chose to die and like let everyone die. Like just give up.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. I don't think there's not like a clear line where it says like she was cursed or hexed or anything like that. I think she died of lack of desire to live.
You can do that.
Yeah, you lose the will to live.
And you just die.
Yeah. That's like, you ever seen Star Wars?
No.
We'll do Star Wars in the first time watcher.
Sure.
This is one of the characters in Star Wars. She's giving birth and she loses the will to live, and she just dies after that. So I don't know. I don't fully understand that, but it's definitely documented in medicinal history. I don't know what the heck
I've
it
heard
means,
like dying of a broken heart, like a spouse dies and then like the next person dies the week later.
Yeah. Or yeah, for sure. That's like definitely kind of part of it. And I think there's like even when someone, has been battling cancer for such a long time, and then you just kind of acquiesce, and like the next like few days they just die because they're like they kind of, it's just like acceptance. It's something that I don't think you kind of have until you've suffered a significant amount. So I think suffering might actually be like the cause of it, and I think she's suffering so much from lack of love that she would rather die.
That's crazy.
It's sad.
I can't believe she did that. Like giving the grandpa Tom Riddle the love potion. Because did she think that, you said that she thought he was actually in love with her at that point and then she stopped giving it to him? Or she loved him so much that she like gave him the grace of just doing his own thing?
No. It definitely wasn't option 2.
Okay.
It was she knew that it wasn't truly it's perverted and weird. My view is like she knew that she wanted to like give him a choice, but not out of her own love, out of like she thought in her head, I've given this to him enough. I know that he's gonna love me now. It was out of like self-assuredness and almost like a sad kind of pride. Like I know that he'll love me now. Like you're just gaga for this guy. So she stops giving it to him. He obviously comes to his senses and wants nothing to do with her. And then she's like loses all hope. She's like, well, if this guy who, I was giving love potion to doesn't really love me, then I'm out.
He never loved you.
Yeah, he never loved you in the first
That's
place.
crazy.
Exactly, because it wasn't love. So that's kind of my take on that, but I don't know.
Maybe that's why Voldemort like needs the true love that's in Harry's blood. Wait, because that baby was Voldemort that she had?
Mhm.
Because then he was like the anti-love
Yeah,
child.
yep.
So, like,
And that's why people think he is the
Yeah.
way that he is, because he's like a child. He's like a product of rape and
Yeah.
anti-love and like a love potion.
and then Harry has like the actual real love.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
It's
How
a
nice.
great observation, Lizzie. It's a fantastic observation. What did you think of Tom Riddle, other than him being potentially a psychopath? What do you think of him?
I think he's cool.
Yeah, he
I don't know,
knows stuff.
Yeah, he's like smart. He's kind of educating himself in a way. Like he's harnessed his own strength, and then he also likes to be a loner.
Hmm.
So I was kind of like, either this is the beginning of like narcissism, or he is just like so used to being alone at this point, or he like resents people because he's an orphan. That like he chooses to be alone all the time and do things by himself. But honestly, I was like, I would kind of want to go do all the Diagon Alley stuff by myself too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, same.
Harry did it by himself, and we were like, oh, that's so irresponsible. Like Hagrid didn't tell him anything.
Yeah,
But I mean, he had enough information, I guess.
for sure. And there's like a level of excitement to it. It's almost like equated to like your first day in college or something like that. You're like you're independent. It's like the first time you almost truly have independence. I still remember like even the first time I got my driver's license and driving on the road and feeling that truly the first sense of independence that you have. And it's like exciting because then you're branching into other relationships rather than branching into like more independence kind of. So it's like Harry is he like likes to be on his own and do these kind of things because like he's leaving his past life behind and going and trudging ahead to like the better friends and the better relationships that he's going to build. Tom Riddle, I think he's leaving his past life behind for, I mean, his ambitions for sure, which is like a Slytherin trait, but just because he likes to be completely isolated from everyone.
Yeah. And then just because we have hindsight, we know that like his isolation is not good because of all the Death Eater stuff that Dumbledore mentions.
Because he thinks he's better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the line in this. Did you know then? Asked Harry. Did I know that I had just met the most dangerous dark wizard of all time? Said Dumbledore. No, I had no idea that he was going. I can't read tonight. Wow, that he was to grow up to be what he is. However, I was certainly intrigued by him. I returned to Hogwarts, intending to keep an eye upon him, something I should have done in any case, given that he was alone and friendless, but which already I felt I had to do for others' sake as much as his. It's a good line.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that he has no like future vision on people. Like I feel like he should be able to sense that somehow.
That's a seer, Liz. Do you think Dumbledore's a true
Don't call
seer?
me Liz.
Sorry, I literally just met another friend called Liz. And there's two Liz's in my head now.
There's only room for one. I have a theory that two Lizzies can't get along. I think it's like a personality issue.
Whoa, okay.
If you're both only known by Lizzie, I don't think you can be friends. It has to be like Elizabeth, Liz. You have to be different.
They have to be, because Elizabeth has like 40 different nicknames.
Mm-hmm.
So, and 40 different spellings too. So,
true. Anyway,
sorry.
Back to the schedule.
Side note. I had to text real quick. Okay, so at the end, Dumbledore does talk about the ring. What happens to the ring?
Don't remember. Is this when it's not on the stool?
Wasn't on his hand anymore.
I don't know. I guess that was Harry assuming that it was meaningful in some way, and then like he was still expecting the story to be explained, but then it was just gone.
Yeah.
And he's never explained the story yet, which is not cool.
Yeah, for sure. All right, go to chapter 14. Felix Felicis. Remember this chapter?
Yeah. This is when Harry supposedly spikes Ron's pumpkin juice with the lucky potion.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. And then Ron has the best Quidditch match ever. And it's all placebo.
Yes. It's one of my favorite chapters ever. I love this chapter so much.
I thought that was so fun that he did that. Because
Yeah.
then I was just like, wow, how much is mentality like the number one thing that's affecting your performance? Like, that's
absolutely
crazy.
like no, I'm not gonna say 100%, but you know, it's so much about confidence and mentality over everything else.
Yeah. But I don't even think it would have been wrong for him to give it to him. Like, I don't know why Hermione was so mad, and then she was literally like hexing the other kid to like not.
Yeah, agreed. Hermione's being hypocritical here.
Yeah.
But it's wrong because you can't do that in like a sporting event because you're essentially like guaranteed to win. It's like using performance enhancing drugs.
That was like in the rules of the potion.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true. But on like a moral level, I see no issue. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's like a harmless thing. It's like a school Quidditch game, so there's not really like stakes involved in this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of with you on that. But it's definitely against competition rules. But I love the idea that Harry did this because Harry understands how much mentality is a part of like really especially sports in a major way. I mean, it's a part of everything, like just having the confidence to know that you can like do this. I still remember the best basketball game I ever played. I had two older brothers and they were really good. And I was playing against this one team and both of them had graduated, but the coach still remembered both my brothers, and both my brothers were really, really good. They were good shooters. And so I remember the first time I touched the ball, the opposing coach, I wasn't that great of a shooter. The opposing coach starts screaming at his team. He goes, get on him. This kid's a really good shooter. And I remember hearing that and being like, you're darn right I'm a good shooter. And just that guy's confidence, I think I scored like 26, 28 points that game or something like that. Like it was my best scoring game in high school because that one guy had confidence in me and it gave me confidence, like complete placebo effect. Nothing really changed. But it gave me confidence and I was like actually good. And I love that I love that Harry knows that and feeds this information to Ron. And Ron just has the best game of his life.
Yeah. Because I think Harry actually does believe in Ron. Like, he knows he can do it.
Agreed.
Which is being a great friend.
Yeah. Because if he didn't, he would have actually given him the Felix Felicis because he's like, we have to get lucky somehow.
Yeah.
If he does believe in Ron, he's going to like say, oh yeah, of course. And then Ron actually performs. That's
I'm also like, what is he holding out for? Like, when is he going to use this?
Yeah, when do you think he's going to use it?
I don't know. Maybe with Cho or Ginny.
Yeah. He's going to put Cho and Ginny in the same room and swig it.
Yikes.
Like, which one should I take?
This is also the chapter where Ron and Hermione are fighting a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or it begins.
Yeah, it begins.
Which is just complicated.
Do you think that they actually make a good couple?
Ron and Hermione?
Yeah.
I feel like not at their age right now. Yeah, right? Like there's probably better people for them when they're young. I feel like they're just, I've said it before, but they're like an old married couple.
Yeah. Like
I could see them being older. Actually, no, I don't think they should be together. I changed my mind. I think there's better people for them. I feel like Hermione got attention from Krum.
Yeah.
Like the greatest man that apparently ever lived for everyone. But like I feel like she should get more attention. Like she just has bushy hair and like glasses or something and everyone overlooks her. And then I just feel like Ron is just like dumb and just like following Harry around.
You probably have never seen this movie, but you ever seen what's that Anne Hathaway movie? Crap, I'm gonna forget it.
Where she has the bushy hair. Yeah. Like I turned this into this.
A princess.
Yeah. Yes. That's literally what I was thinking about when I said that. The Princess Bride. No, not The Princess Bride. That's a great movie.
That's a great movie though.
As you wish. The Princess Diaries.
Princess Diaries. Oh, it's such a good one. I imagine that's like Hermione, like brilliant, but like underneath it all, she's really, really,
just needs to straighten her hair.
I know, exactly.
That's all.
That's the motto for today. If you have bushy hair, just straighten it. Yeah, they're interesting. I feel like they just bicker and fight. They are very much an old married couple. They have good qualities. They balance each other out in certain ways. I think it's definitely like something about opposites attract here.
I don't feel like they like have a spark of like, oh, like
Yeah.
I love Hermione. I love
Yeah.
Ron. It's just like, I don't know.
They kind of just remind me of like an old high school couple that they got together early on, or they had feelings for each other early on and never explored outside of that, and just got like, you know, got together and were like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
And they realize they're not that compatible and they're very, very different people. I mean, I've seen this a bunch in different relationships, but I don't know. They work together in certain ways. But I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like I like how Harry likes Ginny more
Yeah.
than how Ron and Hermione. Because I feel like Ron and Hermione, they just want like each other's attention in a way, but not even in like a enjoyable, fun way to read. It's just like, I don't know.
They are terrible at communication too. Like, I'm not the greatest communicator in the world, not by any stretch of the imagination, but they don't know how to share feelings with each other. Like, how have
they're not communicating.
How have they not had like a sit down DTR?
And there's like, they've never flirted at all, I think.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if really Ginny and Harry have flirted, but like the way it's written in is like, it's just obvious.
Yep.
So I don't know.
Agreed.
I don't know who else would be good for Hermione and Ron, but
I mean, Hermione,
not Lavender.
Yeah, definitely not Lavender. The last question I have in this chapter is, you made a note of this, that you said it was a placebo. But the real question I have for you is liquid luck just actually a placebo? Is it sugar water?
All the time?
Because think about it. He is drinking what he thinks is liquid luck, and it works out great for him. So is liquid luck literally just like some guy just cooked up some like potion and it does nothing, but because you take it, it infuses you with confidence to be able to like trust your gut fully and like go with whatever you think is right, and like, you know, and you have such a positive outlook on life that when you're taking it, it's just like, everything that I do, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna look on the bright side because I'm infused with liquid luck right now.
It could be literally nothing, or it could be such a masterful potion that it's whatever you need it to be.
Yeah.
And then it's like you take it and it like fulfills whatever you need.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it has to be a real potion.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you, but I like the idea that it's just a placebo.
You like that idea?
Yeah, because you can just like, I like it.
But then you don't believe in yourself. Like, then you just get dependent on this potion.
I mean, who believes in themselves literally at all times? No one.
I don't know. I mean, why do you need to believe in yourself all the time? That's not necessary.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. But it's like, you don't want to be overconfident. No, I don't know a ton of people who, like, I know some people who are like overconfident, but they have like, you know, some kind of mental disorders where they always think they're themselves right. I played sports with one kid who, he was terrible, but I've never seen a kid come more confident in my life than this guy. And he was incredible in games that he played, because if he like made one shot, he was not going to miss the rest of the game, because he's like, I'm the greatest player of all time. And his stories were ridiculous, and everyone knew his stories were lies, but he just told them and they were absurd. So I'm like, that guy doesn't need it. But for the average Joe, like, you take a little swig of this sugar water, aka liquid luck, and it gives you a good day. It's like, you know what your potential is. It's kind of, those little moments are kind of fun. Like, Ron knows his potential. Ron could legitimately, if he wanted to, and if he had the confidence to, and if he trained, be like a pro Quidditch player after this game.
Yeah.
Love it.
I still think it's real, but okay.
Yeah. I agree with you. I do think it's real, but I like the idea that it's just placebo.
You just want to be self-confident, self-sufficient.
All right. Chapter 15 is the Unbreakable Vow. Some fun stuff in this chapter. But do you remember what this is about?
Do you remember? 21st night of September. Do I remember what it was about? Let me look at the little chapter art. Oh yes. Okay. This is when they go to the Slug Club thing, and then Snape pulls out Draco. Right? Is this that
Yeah.
chapter? And then they have this conversation about like Snape trying to learn what Draco's mission is, and then Draco like, you can't help me. I don't want your help. You're trying to like claim the victory or whatever for your own, like you want the attention. And then yeah, it's just more like Ron and Hermione fighting. And
yeah, it's a good summary. Would you want to be part of the Slug Club for what you actually know it to be now? So like you got more info on the Slug Club. It's like an exclusive club of like the best, not the best and brightest, but like who Slughorn thinks is the best.
Yeah, I probably would still.
Yeah, me too. That'd be so cool.
I see no wrong.
Yeah.
Like I can be humble,
Yeah.
but I'll still go to the Slug Club.
Me too.
Why wouldn't you?
I know. And it's like fun. They're having like this like banquet, this little like ball, and you're like people dressing up in their nicest clothes.
Yeah, and there's like
it's
legit
fun.
celebrities there too.
Yeah. It's
I'll
cool.
take it.
Agreed. Ooh, okay. So here's another point. So when they're at this little dance, I love that Harry takes Luna. It's my girl right there. Love that. But Luna mentions this. She says she's a bit upset, said Luna. I thought at first it was Moaning Myrtle in there, but it turned out to be Hermione. She said something about Ron Weasley. Yeah, they've had a row, said Harry. She says very funny things sometimes, doesn't he? Said Luna, as they set off down the corridors together. But he can be a bit unkind. I noticed that last year. What is your general opinion on the trio, particularly Ron here, but on the trio, and what do you think is maybe their worst attribute for each of them?
Their worst attribute?
Yeah.
I feel like they're all they're like family tight at this point, which I feel like is why you can come across as mean, because there's like a certain level of once you're locked in with someone, it's just like it is what it is.
It's a good interpretation. I like that.
But Hermione is definitely controlling.
Yes.
I want to say that's probably her negative trait.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's great.
Or like, yeah, I would say controlling more than bossy, because bossy's just annoying, but like she really does want to, like she tells people what to do all the time. Yeah. Like I could not deal with that. But Ron, I think is just like dumb. I feel like he's not, I don't know. I just think of him as like Harry's Crabbe and Goyle, where they just follow him around. And he's like, I don't know, he's just like a nothing character.
What does he bring to the table for you?
Chess. I don't know.
The best game of Wizard's chess this world has ever seen.
What does he bring to the table? Red hair, humor.
Dang.
I don't think he brings much to the table, honestly. I'm at a loss.
All right.
Why? Do you have some like outstanding Ron traits that you can come up with?
Loyalty, really good friendship.
I think he's like encouraging.
Yeah.
Like he's a good sport to be around.
If it was just Harry and Hermione together, things would be so dreadfully scary and serious all the time. Yeah,
that's so true.
They would not have any room to breathe. Ron gives them breathing room. Maybe in his stupidity and his dopiness, but I think he like gives them a space to be like, let's take a step back. Let's like enjoy life, because otherwise both of them would not enjoy anything.
Would Hermione and Harry be friends without Ron?
Yes, I think so. They might not be best of friends. But I definitely think that they would be friends. Almost out of necessity. Like it would, in a very utilitarian way. They would need each other, and they would realize they needed each other, so they'd be friends.
Do you think they would get together? Because Hermione was like Muggle born and didn't know anything about.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, she's like a genius, but
I think they would be more of a power couple, and their relationship would be, I think, like kind of cooler, because they're both pretty ambitious. They both like have a good drive. They're both pretty brilliant. They're both really good at what they do, and they could really complement and help each other out in their careers and in their life, and like, you know, just figuring stuff out. So I like that, but there's something that I love so much about Hermione's crush on Ron, because it shows me kind of where her priorities lie. And yes, she is brilliant, one of the most brilliant people that the school has ever seen. But she values this dopey kid who can't get his grades right, who's not really that good looking or like handsome or attractive. She sees something in him that I'm like, I trust Hermione's perspective on this. And I think there's something to be said about Hermione wanting a guy that is just like, can make her like laugh and like, you know.
It's like McGonagall and Hagrid.
Yeah, exactly.
But why does Ron want Hermione though?
That's who wouldn't want Hermione?
What?
What are you talking about? What?
I do not feel like anyone would want Hermione.
Oh yeah, she's a little annoying. She's like a little much at times, but she's brilliant. She's definitely coming into her own. She's definitely like a late bloomer. Like Ginny is definitely the one that is like sweeping all the guys off their feet. She's like the it girl now. Hermione is kind. And she's quiet, and like she's one of those like hidden gems that you get to know and you're like, dang, she's like cool, but I like never really would have thought to get to know her that much. I think Ron just got in early and he's like, she's mine.
I feel like I'm picturing her different than you picture her.
Because you picture her pretty annoying, right?
Yeah, and like very nerdy and like...
Who doesn't love a nerdy girl? Maybe I'm just outing myself here.
Each their own. I don't know. I feel like... Okay, yeah, I feel like there's better people out there.
I mean, we haven't read a ton of people in this book, but yeah, there's definitely some better people. There's like more... I guess to each their own.
Just tell us what you want.
Who is okay, maybe a weird question. Who is the most attractive character in the book to you?
In like physically?
No, well, like yeah, physically, but like attraction is more than physical.
Probably like Fred and George.
Yeah, they're pretty hot. Honestly, that's kind of my answer too. Fred and George are, I feel like they're such catches.
And Tonks.
Oh yeah. Tonks is easy. Tonks is like easily my number one, like no doubt about it.
And Sirius.
Yeah, okay, just keep listing every character in the book.
That's it. Those three. Because Fred and George are the same person. They're one person. And then just Tonks and Sirius. Those are my top three.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, honestly, Fred and George are definitely in my top. Tonks is probably in my number one. Fred and George, and then a wild pick, but I would kind of say Luna.
Oh yeah, I see that for you.
What do you mean by that? Now I'm offended.
Why? You love Luna.
I love her so much.
No, Luna's cool.
Yeah, a little weird, a little off.
Yeah.
Love that. All right. Back to especially the end of this chapter. I want to talk about a few questions here. But what is your impression of the whole Snape and Draco interaction?
I don't know. I feel like I need to reread it.
Yeah.
But
so here's like, I'll give you a line that they have. It says Filch's expression of outraged disappointment was perfectly predictable, but why, Harry wondered, watching him, did Malfoy look almost unequally unhappy? And why was Snape looking at Malfoy as if both angry and, was it possible, a little afraid? Why is Snape afraid in this moment?
I feel like this situation might be up in the air and like something that's not planned by either Voldemort or Dumbledore. And like he's actually flying by the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
Cause I don't like an unbreakable vow is serious.
Yeah.
And like he's now bound to that. So like he has to help Draco, but Draco's not letting him help him. But we still don't know what Draco's mission is.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess neither does Snape.
Yeah. And do you find it shocking that Draco's learned occlumency and he's actually able to shut Snape out of his mind here?
I feel like Snape would have taught him occlumency, like in the common room when
Right?
they're all like in the Slytherin dungeon. But I feel like maybe Snape wouldn't have taught him to the extent where he could close out Snape. But
Yeah.
then maybe you just learn it and then you just practice it and you're good.
Yeah.
But occlumency is scary. That's definitely like he's prepping for something. Like he is going to be a Death Eater, because why would you want to do that?
For real.
Because like Harry didn't prioritize it at all, and there was literally Voldemort like coming to his mind.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
But yeah, that's definitely freaky.
Yeah,
that's like a pro wizard skill right there.
And there's a point to it where, I would love to know more about what occlumency and legitimacy feels like for the person invading and for the person being invaded. If I'm walking down the street and I'm a wizard, can I feel if someone is trying to get into my mind? Is it like
wait, what's legitimacy again?
Is the reading of the mind. Occlumency is the shutting of the mind. Legitimacy is the reading of the mind. Because if I could feel that feels like such an invasion that I would really want to learn occlumency.
Well, it like knocked Harry over, right? Like he was so weakened by it.
Yeah, that's a kind of a more deliberate form of legitimacy. I'm actually excited to watch some of the movies with you, because in the extra stuff that they've made in the Fantastic Beasts movies, there's like a different version of occlumency and legitimacy where the person can kind of feel what's going on in their head, but it's a little different. It kind of reminds me maybe a little bit of like, again, you haven't seen Star Wars, so this is going to go right over your head. Lots of Star Wars references tonight.
The only scene I've seen of Star Wars is they're like in this room thing and the walls are closing.
Oh yeah, it's a famous scene. It's a good scene. It's a terrifying scene, but
and I saw that when I was like 7. So.
we'll have to not rewatch that. We'll have to watch that for the first time. I completely forgot where my Star Wars reference is going.
I don't know. You were talking about like differences between movies and how it feels.
Yeah, I completely forgot. There goes my Star Wars reference. Legitimacy and occlumency.
I wouldn't have got it anyway.
I don't remember where that was going, but yeah, I think it'd be really useful to know how to shut your mind off to someone else, because I don't want everyone prying into my mind and.
Well, does everyone know legitimacy?
No, it's definitely like a skill that you need to learn. It's simultaneously a gift that you can be born with, and it's also something that you have to learn and train and like hone. So everybody has the ability to do it, but it's like some people could be better at it than others.
I feel like you could tell if someone's looking into your head, because don't they have to make eye contact?
Kind of make eye contact.
And isn't that like what Dumbledore was doing like all of the beginning
all
books?
The time, the beginning books. He was and none of them felt it. So
yeah, because they're brand new wizards. They're like 13.
Oh, here was my Star Wars reference. You can use the Force on people who are weak-minded. You can't really use it with people who are strong-minded. And I'm like, is that the same with legitimacy and occlumency? Like, if someone looks into my mind, are they able to do that because I have a weak mind, or am I able to shut them off? And are they not able to do that because I have a strong mind? Maybe we'll talk about that more as we go on, because there's like more nuance than that. But
it's kind of like a unspoken. What are those called? Nonverbal spells.
Yeah, really.
But I feel like you learn occlumency and legitimacy first because it's like personal. It's like in you, and then like I was gonna say the unspeakable. What is it called? The unspoken spells. Nonverbal spells. Like those are like commands to other things.
Yeah.
So yeah. Can you like can you legitimacy somebody who's doing a nonverbal spell and then like see what they're doing? Because like, wouldn't you just be like repeating that spell over in your mind?
Yeah, probably.
Is that how you learn a nonverbal spell?
No.
Oh. Darn.
Possibly. I don't know, actually. I don't know the intricacies of that. If Hogwarts ever wants to take me in as a student, just to study the intricacies of all that.
I'm sure they will.
I'm more than willing to jump in.
There'll be an owl flying in
here. Yeah. I need one.
Have you been to Universal?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I went very early on. I went when the Harry Potter universe was just beginning. And I went with my college soccer team because we had a tournament down there, and it was 24 guys and going on to all the Harry Potter rides, and we were all nerding out about it and geeking out about it, and it was great.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, it actually was a really good time, but I haven't been since, so I'm hoping to go soon. But I hear it's magical over there.
That's so funny. How much you love this book. Like, it's crazy.
No, I think it's okay. Yeah. I mean, I love this book, but it's, yeah, we can say I love this book.
Yeah, one could say you love this book. Duh. The last 100 hours of podcasting.
I know, for real. I just think it's fun to like relive people's first read experiences. Like Harry Potter was such a fantastic book. I wanted to experience what other people did, like experience that. And I think that's kind of true with all sorts of others. That's why in my book club, like you're a part of, literally the first like 4 or 5 books we read were books that I loved, that were like my favorite books of all time. And I just wanted to get other people's thoughts and feelings on it.
Yeah.
And it's like one thing that I just cannot get enough of. So I'm like, hey, I have already started this in a book club, so I might as well just do this with like, another book. And I was like, I love Harry Potter. I've read it a bunch. I know a lot about it. Let me just, relive what people experience.
Yeah, that is a cool experience.
So
I like that.
that's why we'll get to do Lord of the Rings together and all sorts of other fun books. But
wait, I have one more thing from the last chapter.
Yeah, hit me.
So almost before Harry had registered what he'd seen, Filch had turned and shuffled away, muttering under his breath. Malfoy composed his face into a smile and was thanking Slughorn for his generosity, and Snape's face was smoothly inscrutable again. It's nothing, said Slughorn, waving away Malfoy's thanks. I did know your grandfather, after all. He always spoke very highly of you, sir, said Malfoy quickly. Said you were the best potion maker he'd ever known. Harry stared at Malfoy, blah, blah. So I'm like, what if Slughorn is the Half-Blood Prince?
Ooh.
And then, like, he purposefully gave Harry this book. Because, like, Slughorn gave him the book, right?
Yeah.
And it was so last minute that Harry got in his class. I wonder if he, like,
I'm gonna poke a hole in that.
Is he not a half-blood?
No, he could be half-blood. Very well could be half-blood. We don't know. It's a great suggestion. Why would... So Dumbledore convinced Slughorn to come to Hogwarts with Harry. Slughorn didn't want to come to Hogwarts at all. Why would Slughorn then equip Harry with this book that can make him brilliant instantaneously if Slughorn wants really nothing to do with Hogwarts?
Because the higher that Harry rises,
the higher he can rise?
Yeah, he can go with him.
All right,
and he'll know Harry as... Oh, my student Harry Potter, he excelled in my class. He was my best
Yeah, I kind of like that.
We can be LinkedIn buddies. Like, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't... Like, it makes sense to me. That he would just hand it to him and be like, boom. Enjoy.
I kind of like that. Okay.
But
Good theory.
That was it.
I'm going to keep trying to gaslight you into not believing that so you don't have the rest of the book spoiled for you.
I don't trust you anyway.
All right, let's go into chapter 16. And all that happens in chapter 16 is they go back to the burrow and have lots of conversation.
And the minister comes.
Yeah, at the end. We'll talk about that. If you trust him or not, it's a great one. The first question I have.
Fire away.
Here's just a good line. An unbreakable vow, said Ron, looking stunned. Nah, you can't have. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure, said Harry. Why? What does it mean? Well, you can't break an unbreakable vow. I'd worked that much out for myself, funny enough. What happens if you break it then? You die, said Ron simply. Fred and George tried to get me to make one when I was about 5. I nearly did, too. I was holding hands with Fred and everything when Dad... Is my neighbors having an argument? No. I was holding hands with Fred and everything when Dad found us. He went mental, said Ron.
Crazy.
With a reminiscent gleam in his eyes. Only time I've ever seen Dad as angry as Mom. Fred reckons his left buttocks has never been the same since. Which is great. I think you. I saw this on like a maybe US this or something like this. It's in my brain somewhere. Someone talking about why don't all these students do unbreakable vows? Like, why isn't that just like a more common thing? Because I think in the wizarding world, they know how serious it is. And they know it's like, you will die if you don't perform an unbreakable vow.
How do you just die? Like, what kills you?
The magic kills you. There's magic embedded in your system now. It's so a scary
weird.
thing. But then there's another point after this where Fred and George go into the Muggle town and they start wooing women with Muggle magic tricks. What do you think about that?
I love that so much. That made me, I actually paused and just considered this because I was like, I never even thought about like a wizard wanting to date a Muggle.
Yeah.
But I was like, that would be such an ego boost because you would be so impressive to anybody.
Yeah, for real.
That you try to show off to.
It'd be a little deceptive. It's a little like icky, you know?
But then I was like thinking of all the Muggles and like the Muggle wizard couples throughout the series, and I was like, I wonder how that all went down
I know,
for them. Like,
for sure.
Were they just like doing magic? And I don't know.
It's always got to be a bit of a shock when something like that happens. Like you have a sit down. Hey, I want to talk. All right, you want to talk about like a relationship? No, I want to talk about that. I'm a wizard. You're like, oh great, I'm dating a crazy person right now.
Yeah,
and then when they actually prove it, you're like
trust would not be there.
Real. For real. That'd be actually a fascinating series. Give me a series. Oh man, like a reality series on Muggles and wizards dating and how they break the news. And like, do some just say it right up front, or some like, hey, look, I'm you know, I know how to do magic. And
but
they
Fred
get it out
and
of the way.
George are doing that because they're using their magic like right at the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
But it is like,
how do you show a Muggle magic like that? That's illegal.
Magic tricks. So
they're
doing
just,
like
really
card
good
tricks.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah, good sleight of hand, like card tricks.
And
like,
then someday they'll get married and be like, boom, like blows up the house.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
It's kind of cool.
Who did that happen to? Wasn't there a couple that did that, and then the mom was like so mad that the dad was a wizard, or the other way around?
Seamus talks about his story that his mom was a Muggle, his dad was a Muggle, mom was a witch. This is a rape, nasty shock for him when he found out.
Yeah.
There's probably some others too that we've gotten where it's been like a shock for them to know that the other spouse is a wizard or a witch or something like that. I'm sure there's a lot of single family homes out there because you reveal it all of a sudden and the person doesn't want to get with you and they're like leave you with like, you know, that's probably a fine line to
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's a fine line to like navigate. If you're so ashamed of it, or like if you really love someone, it's like vulnerability. Where does the vulnerability come into play? Do you lay everything out open immediately, or do you like have that period of time, like a natural progression of things where you're like, hey, by the way, let's have a sit down after like a few months of dating? Or do you hold it back until you get married and the person's locked in with you? So you're like, hey, by the way, I'm a witch. What?
I would say not that way.
Yeah, that's definitely not the way to go.
Make an unbreakable vow.
Yeah. During our wedding, I made an unbreakable vow. So if you divorce me, you're going to die. What?
Yeah. And that destroys my theory that Dumbledore made an unbreakable vow. And that's why his hand turned black. Because Dumbledore would just die.
But could it potentially be a different kind of unbreakable vow of like, maybe whatever this unbreakable vow is there like a prolonged period? Is it like slowly poisoning your system? And is that what's happening to his hand? So like, did he make an unbreakable vow with someone?
No.
No?
I think you're gaslighting me.
I'm just talking interesting theories of what could possibly and potentially be.
Why would it be a slow death, like limb by limb?
No, not necessarily a slow death, but like, it's like the timeline. Like on his hand, he sees, okay, like maybe like you take an unbreakable vow in marriage and you slowly, you know, get this poison spread through. It's like that's not going to happen. But maybe there's a different level of seriousness to a unbreakable vow where it's like warning you, or like the other person isn't fulfilling what they need to do. So like it's slowly poisoning you as well, so that you help and fix the other person.
Because there was like 3 parts to Snape's unbreakable vow. Yeah. So like if he doesn't succeed in one part.
Yeah.
I guess so.
That's a good point. You're now gaslighting yourself.
Yeah, well, whatever.
What do you think of Snape here, though?
I don't know. I'm like concerned for him. I feel like he's losing his footing in this whole lie scheme that he's created. Like if Draco does something wrong, it might jeopardize Snape or Snape standing in with Dumbledore or with Voldemort. I'm more concerned about Voldemort, honestly, because Voldemort would just kill Snape.
Yeah.
But I think Dumbledore would keep him around or like give him forgiveness again. But I feel like if Snape messes up for Voldemort, Snape just dies.
He's just dead, yeah.
Which is not good.
Kind of sucks because you kind of feel like he's being used by either of the sides.
But I don't think Dumbledore would just send him on like a death mission either.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
You have a high opinion of Dumbledore.
We've come full circle. No, because, yeah, Dumbledore just has never shown that in the past with people. And I don't think he would do it now. Because, like, they didn't kill people in the Ministry. So there's, like...
Yeah.
I'm always way more extreme than the books are. I'm like, die, Umbridge. And, like, she doesn't die. So I feel like Dumbledore would not just be like, oh, you failed. Boom. You're dead.
Yeah.
But like Voldemort's like that.
Yeah, for
Maybe
sure.
that's the only reason I think that is because Dumbledore is like the opposite of Voldemort, and Voldemort would kill people.
Yeah, Voldemort is out slaying people left and right. No problem with that.
And this chapter, there's the werewolf situation.
Yeah, what do you think of that?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Like biting kids.
It's terrible.
Which also makes me feel like little Malfoy is definitely a Death Eater, because if Voldemort's going after the werewolf, like the kids with the werewolves, he would definitely just go after teenagers. Like, just as teenagers.
Yeah, it's gross. That is like reprehensible. And he was the one that bit Lupin, which is really tragic.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Right?
So Lupin has to like live with this
lycanthropy.
What are they? Werewolves?
Yeah.
Are they like on their hind legs, or they're like wolves?
No, they're essentially just
humans?
like normal wolves. So that's one mistake that the movies make, is they really do look like normal wolves for the most part. Like there's probably some more subtle differences between them. But
so they're like full wolf for a month or something?
No, just for the full moon.
Oh. How long is a full moon? A night?
Okay. Yeah, just a bad night, and then they're good. But it definitely takes recovery time. I'm sure when you're coming up to the full moon, it like kind of drives you a little crazier. Yeah. It's like even like my brother, who are both my siblings, brother and sister. Huh?
Who's a werewolf?
They're werewolves. No, they work in hospitals, and they say the full moon makes people nuts. That makes people like the hospitals are full whenever there's a full moon. Makes people a little loony.
I believe it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But so he just has to live with this guy in human form then?
What do you mean? Live with this guy in human form?
Isn't Lupin with Greyback?
Yeah.
Greybeard, whatever.
So they're like, you know, in I guess a shack together with all the other werewolves, just living it up. Yikes. But he's there just getting information. That's got to be tough to live with this guy. I'm sure Greyback doesn't really remember that he bit Lupin. Maybe he does. But it's got to be tough to live with a guy that bit you when you were a kid and not want to like enact revenge right there.
Yeah, and also you are fully into your werewolf tendencies too, so Lupin could fully just go bad.
Yeah, for sure.
Which would be insane.
That's actually an interesting point.
Like that's a very tempting situation, I feel.
Yeah. I think it's more uncontrollable with Lupin only at the full moon. So I'm curious how Lupin is fixing that issue. If he's like during the full moon, he like locks himself in a room and doesn't let himself come out. If that's how he's like gaining trust, or like maybe like, which is maybe is a dark thing, but is Lupin having to trust, or is he having to show he's really a good, like a bad werewolf to Greyback by like going out and doing what these other bad werewolves are doing?
He's like biting kids.
Yeah, is Lupin out there biting kids to gain the trust of Greyback? I don't think he would go that far.
I never even thought about that, because when they all turn into their wolf selves, he has to do that too. Like he can't just have his potion.
Yeah. Well, there's like a point to it where I feel like in your werewolf self, you don't really remember some of the stuff that you've done. So like maybe Lupin is, I don't perceive Lupin as like going to the full extent of like attacking a kid or something like that. That is not who Lupin is, especially in my head.
But did he not kind of do that?
He's going underground, so it's like it's almost like a necessity that you have to do something like that.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Maybe he's like,
maybe I don't trust Lupin anymore.
As soon as the full moon's about to burst, he's like, guys, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. Hold on. Don't go anywhere without me. He locks himself in the bathroom. They all go and they turn into werewolves and they all go off and they don't really remember. They're having like a rager. And then Lupin's just in the bathroom, locked in the bathroom. Maybe he doesn't like that. Maybe he's responsible with that. But it's dangerous. I don't think they all
notice that Lupin's gone.
Actually, I don't know.
Because if they all go separately, then Lupin could just be like, oh, I bit 10 kids.
Yeah.
And then not have done anything. But he turned into a werewolf in book 3, right?
Yep.
And he was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't he trying to bite Harry?
Yeah, because he didn't take his wolfsbane potion. So like, it makes you not yourself.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Yeah.
Being good. We'll say that.
Yeah.
He's misbehaving.
Yeah, he is misbehaving a lot.
I didn't even think about that. Yikes.
That'd be kind of crazy. Ugh. Poor guy.
I don't trust him now. Like, what if he's just doing bad things and like making more werewolves and serving Voldemort for the one night and then comes back and he's like, oh, I'm in the order.
Yeah.
And like, how could Dumbledore do that to him? He's not making any progress with these werewolves.
Yeah, for sure.
If anything, he should go out there and kill that one big one that...
Yeah, honestly. This is, if we're talking about pack animals, the way that you control the pack is by killing the leader of the pack.
Alpha, and then he becomes the alpha.
So legitimately, that's Lupin's number one job should be, I need to go into this assembly and kill the pack, and then the whole pack will follow me. I don't know if werewolves are pack animals, to be honest. Wolves are pack animals, but I don't know if werewolves are. Maybe they're more lone wolves.
A werewolf is like not real.
No, Lizzie, we're having a discussion about this right now. My neighbors just said they saw a coyote in their backyard. Or maybe they say they came out of their front door and they're like, hey, John, by the way, I think I saw either a wolf or a coyote. And in my head, I'm like, you did not see a wolf. Okay, so we saw a coyote. There are no wolves in New Jersey.
There used to be, apparently.
Yeah, there used to be, but there's not anymore. They're
coyotes
for hundreds of years.
So creepy.
Yeah,
I hate coyotes.
The coyotes are intense.
Honestly, we need a lot more of them though for all the deer.
I know, for real. Yeah, we're getting more of them though.
Bring back the wolves.
More of them and bears. I know, seriously, wolves in Jersey. That'd be great.
Mountain lions. We should have mountain lions here too.
There's a zoo nearby us. I don't know if you've ever been to this one. I'm not gonna even say what the zoo is.
Probably,
but
yes.
They have a mountain lion.
Is it named after an animal?
No.
Oh.
No, that one is great. I love that one. That's a great one.
Wait,
this one's closer and it's a smaller. It's in it starts with a V. And no one knows about the zoo. It's free admittance in the winter.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
I know.
And they have 2 mountain lions, like huge mountain lions there.
In there?
Yeah, so cool. But it's literally right next to like this huge outside park, and I see dogs walking by it all the time. And I'm like, I'm curious what these dogs, when they walk by it, they're like going crazy because they know a mountain lion is literally a few feet away.
They're out though, or they're in like...
They're in an enclosure, but the enclosure is like literally right next to the outside of the park.
I never went and saw the animals there. I just have been there.
It's kind of a cool one. Go in the winter. They let you in for free, and it's just like you walk around, and all the animals are still out there. They're just chilling. It's pretty cool.
That's crazy.
Big old bison out there.
No way, really?
Yeah, it's a pretty good one.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to go.
They have a little bird sanctuary too. Little budgies. It's cute. Anyway.
That was like a little trivia game. Yeah, like, guess what I'm trying to talk about. We should do that more.
There was one we did in season 1 where I was like talking about someone's wand, and Danny bought a bunch of wands, and he had one that he was like, I don't remember, but it starts with like some kind of letter, and I was like, oh, I know who that is, and I threw it out there on the podcast. I was like, anybody have any guesses? And everyone, I got the most emails I've gotten are just people who are at that point in the podcast are like, I've been thinking of every name possible and I cannot think of who it is. Because it started with an R, and it was 5 letters, and everyone thought Remus, but I was like, nope, it's not Remus. But it was Rufus Scrimgeour. Yeah.
Hmm.
So it was fun. But a few more random ones, some short random questions about this. We talk about Tonks' new Patronus form. We've already talked about that a little bit. So Tonks has changed form. Says he was, however, reminded of a question he had with regards to Tonks. And who better to ask than Lupin, the man who knew all about Patronuses? Tonks' Patronus form has changed, he told him. Snape said so anyway. I didn't know that could happen. Why would your Patronus change? Lupin took his time chewing his turkey and swallowing before saying slowly, sometimes a great shock, an emotional upheaval. It looked big and had 4 legs, said Harry, struck by a sudden thought and lowering his voice. Hey, it couldn't be. That's where it peters out. What do you think about Tonks' new Patronus form?
I think Harry was gonna ask if it was like Sirius Black in dog form.
You think it was?
I don't know. I feel like it's Lupin in wolf form. But I don't know. Like, why is that traumatizing to her? That Lupin is a werewolf. Like, everybody has known that for so long.
Okay. I don't think that would be traumatizing to her.
So then the death of Sirius is very traumatizing, and then
it could be.
It becomes a dog. Well,
I mean, what else would it be? That's the real question. Maybe that's my question for you. If it's not the death of Sirius, what else would it be? It feels so obvious that it's the death of Sirius because it's turned into something that kind of looks like
it's
Sirius.
Something with Lupin, because I know, don't they end up together?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think they do. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not sure why. Like Lupin, if it's a wolf or werewolf for Lupin, I don't know what's traumatizing about it to her. Like maybe he's getting injured out there, or maybe she's just like worried for him that he's gonna get hurt, and then that's enough where she's like panicking every time he's gone, and then boom, now it's a werewolf, and then Lupin inside is like, okay, I see you.
All right, I see you.
But I think Harry was gonna ask if it was the dog, because that makes sense.
Yeah, that does make sense.
But everybody knows he's a werewolf, so
yeah, I know.
Maybe it's just the pressure of the new mission.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. What do you think about Scrimgeour and his proposal for Harry?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was very greasy of him.
Yeah.
To do that. And Harry was on point. Like everything Harry said, I was like, let's go. Finally, some intelligent, coherent things. Because he's not even offering him like, let's work together and use your knowledge and your skills and defeat Voldemort. He's like, come to the Ministry and it'll look like we have things under control.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry's like, you don't. And yes, I'm on Dumbledore's side. That's it. End of story.
Was it a shocker that Umbridge is still working there?
Ooh. I think I was surprised to hear her name come up again, but I guess it makes sense that she still has her job.
Yeah.
Because the Ministry is bad, so they're not gonna like punish her behavior.
Yep, exactly.
But it was surprising to me that he still has the scar on his hand. I thought that was gonna be gone, and that's exactly what I said. Like how I'd scrape that in and just like use that, and like I was like, yes, he's literally doing that right now. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
like,
that's pretty
Harry.
cool. I'm not gonna lie. That's a pretty sick. That was a pretty good prediction of yours. When you were saying that, I was like. Well, that's exactly what Harry is going through right now.
Because I thought it would fade out, but it didn't.
Yeah, because that line even was so great. It says, you don't care whether I live or die, but you do care that I help you convince everyone you're winning the war against Voldemort. I haven't forgotten, Minister. He raised his right fist. There, shining white on the back of his cold hand, were scars which Dolores Umbridge had forced him to carve into his own flesh. I must not tell lies.
Yeah. So good. And that's exactly what I was hoping. Like he would be able to come into his own and be like, look, I can't tell lies. I have to be like, I'm against you.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's so good.
But I'm also like stressed that either Percy or him, what's the minister's name? Rufus? I'm like, what if they're Imperious? Like, is everyone at the Ministry Imperious?
Good question.
And they're like trying to get Harry to come to the Ministry and then they can trap him or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they didn't ask them any questions. They were just like, oh, it's Percy and the minister. And then there's like, where's your security questions that you were all so like,
seriously,
like you needed to have those.
Seriously, I feel like that'd be the most dangerous. Like these scammers coming in with your fake minister, and then
like the minister's target number one for Imperius.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess they're just so flabbergasted. Like if the president walked in, I would not, do a quick background check on him.
Well, there's also no shot that there's anyone else.
Yep, that's a great point.
I don't know.
I like how this chapter ended, though. It says, well, it's clear to me he's done a very good job on you, said Scrimgeour, his eyes cold and hard behind his wire-rimmed glasses. Dumbledore's man through and through, aren't you, Potter? Yeah, I am, said Harry. Glad we straightened that out.
Yeah, he is.
Love that. Loyalty. So anything else in this chapter?
I like this line, which is, I think, just like literally the line before what you just read, but where Harry's just like insulting him a little bit. He's like, you can try, Harry said indifferently, but you seem cleverer than Fudge, so I'd have thought you'd have learned from his mistakes. He tried interfering at Hogwarts. You might have noticed he's not minister anymore, but Dumbledore's still headmaster. I was like,
got
him.
Yeah. Yeah, I love little like moments like that where Harry gets the best of these adults.
Yeah. Because he doesn't seem very grown up the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Like he's still getting bossed around all the time.
Yeah.
But in the little moments where he does take control, I'm like, okay, good job.
I know, for real.
You did okay.
He really is very mature, and he's like very good at taking control. He shows a lot of maturity in that, I guess. Yeah. Because I don't know too many kids that are that well spoken when they're that age. He just like commands the situation. He's like so fearless in the face of like these incredible, well, not incredible, but like these really, really powerful and important people. And he doesn't value that at all.
Yeah, he's not dazzled by the greatness at all.
Yep. Which is so cool. I love that of Harry. Well, he's not dazzled by like almost fake greatness. He's dazzled by Dumbledore. He's dazzled by some of these other people that can do like great magic. But not by just people who have power.
Yeah, I think ultimately Harry's a good judge of character.
Yeah, agreed.
So that's why he's valuing those people.
For sure, completely agree.
Especially like Hagrid. They love Hagrid, and Hagrid's a big nobody.
Hey, watch it.
Even with Malfoy right at the beginning of the books, like he was like, I don't think I want to be like with your kind of wizard. So he knew nothing about the wizarding world at that point.
Yeah. And he already knew him. Yeah, he is a very, very good judge of character. That's why we love him. He's good. Alrighty. That's all we got. I'm not gonna ask you all your favorites because I know you hate that.
Good, thank you.
But Harry is our favorite and our hot tamale. Just give me your hot tamale quick.
That's what you're gonna know. I'm gonna say Lupin.
That's a good one. Biting children over there in the secret society.
Yep.
Yeah, Lupin's a hot dude.
I would say probably House Cup would be Dumbledore.
Ooh.
Just because the whole memory thing.
Yeah.
It's a good chapter.
That's a good one. It's like Dumbledore is really in control of the situation here.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember the other.
Favorite moment?
It's been so
long. Can we go all three? 3 for 3?
Favorite moment? I love when he does his thing with his scar. He's like, I must not tell lies.
That's fantastic.
But the joy of Ron having an amazing Quidditch match is
love that.
Beautiful, perfect.
Love that.
Love that. So much joy.
Love that for Ron.
Yeah.
It's one of my faves too. I'm in for that one.
Is that all of them?
Yeah, you nailed it, Lizzie.
Trophies? Wow.
Crush that.
Don't ask again.
Yeah, I won't ask for another book, so you're good. Well, thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.